President Trump taught Republicans a lesson that a lot of us tried to teach when we worked in DC, a lot of us who weren't in the communications team. Those of us who were some newcomers to Washington, D.C., and by us, I mean me and my team, came in as tech people, totally outside. And I informed my team right away, if one of you leaks and I find out and you leak to a reporter, you're fired. These reporters are not our friends. Let's not pretend otherwise. And when you brought in this outsider point of view and you treated these people as who they are, it was super, super upsetting. There was a press secretary, a female press secretary, who'd worked in that business forever. And I tweeted something about Katie Couric because Katie Couric was making fun of Sarah Palin and was basically calling Sarah Palin a loose woman, or Sarah Palin wore these. She was jogging. She was on Runner's Magazine, and so she wore, I guess, yoga pants. And Katie Couric had something smart alecky to say about showing off her body. And then a video came out of Katie Couric drunk dancing. And I tweeted something about it and referenced the Sarah Palin piece. And Katie called that press secretary personally and said, will you please have him take that down? And we were in Maryland at a retreat. And I remember that female press secretary came up to my room at like 10:30 at night and knocked on the door. Hey, can I come in? And I'm looking out the keyhole and it's her, like, no. Oh no, I want to talk to you privately. No. I'll come downstairs and talk to you. Well, it's private. No. We can talk privately in the dining room or anywhere else, but no, not in my room or yours. So we go downstairs and she says, hey, look, I'm asking you as a friend. I feel like we've become friends. Could you do something as a friend for me? Could you take that tweet down? Like, wow, we're friends? I didn't know we're friends because we've never done anything together as friends. And no. Well, it's really hurting Katie's feelings. Oh, thanks for telling me. Well, she's a friend and she's been good to us. No, she hasn't. So you look back through that and you say, okay, so hey, why the big drama? Why? Do you understand the setup to can I come into your room? I mean, do you understand how that would work later? So they, in that town, Republicans so sought and begged for the media to stop beating them. And the press secretaries and the comms directors, they were so wrapped up in toxic emotional affairs with these reporters. And I remember seeing a friend of mine, a guy I worked with, who is a good guy, generally speaking, laughing and yucking it up in the offices of the Obama White House press secretary, leaning back in chairs, having drink-a-poos. Like, they hate you. And you can't see this. So President Trump modeled something with the media that, yep, go talk to them. President Trump likes to be on camera. Go do that, but understand they're not your friends. And it's not healthy to think they're your friends. And the new White House press secretary, I think, finally gets this. And this woman was not selected simply because the camera loves her and she loves it back. She's good at her job. And it's a healthy thing to see. And health can come in really quick hits, or it can come over time. If you've let yourself go over time and you've gotten, let's say, way too heavy, you have bad body composition, too much fat, not enough muscle, that's a workout thing. That's a nutrition thing. It's primarily nutrition. It's also looking at the little things. I'm trying to regain a skill, which is a full snatch, which is one thing I didn't get back with my shoulder surgeries and concentrating on seal fit. And the craziest thing that I'm doing is videotaping my wrists. It's so stupid. You'd think, why are you? Because my turnover sucks. So it's this tiny little detail of making my turnover fast, trying to get that back. Details matter. The details to your health matter. Bioptimizers is about the details. The details of digestion, P3OM, a prebiotic. The details of making sure your body gets as much value out of the protein you eat as possible. That's masszymes. That helps you produce thousands of times more amino acids in your body, the building block of proteins, than people who don't take it. Magnesium breakthrough, sleep, regularity, sense of calm. Their products are 20 years in the making, 25. They've been around that long. It's about the details of your health life. So go to bioptimizers.com/Todd. You'll get 10% off all their products there. A lot of people start with magnesium breakthrough. Great place to start. There's sleep breakthrough. If you really have problems sleeping, find the products for the details of your life. Subscribe. You get exclusive discounts, exclusive gifts, and free information. It's bioptimizers.com/Todd. Promo code Todd. Carolyn Levitt, the new White House press secretary, talking with an AP reporter.
Thanks, Caroline. A question that we've asked your predecessors of both parties in this job. When you're up here in this briefing room speaking to the American public, do you view yourself and your role as speaking on, advocating on behalf of the president, or providing the unvarnished truth that is, not to lie, not to obfuscate to the American people?
I commit to telling the truth from this podium every single day. I commit to speaking on behalf of the President of the United States. That is my job. And I will say it's very easy to speak truth from this podium when you have a president who is implementing policies that are wildly popular with the American people, and that's exactly what this administration is doing. It's correcting the lies and the wrongs of the past 4 years, many of the lies that have been told to your faces in this very briefing room. I will not do that. But since you brought up Truth Seek, I would like to point out, while I vowed to provide the truth from this podium, we ask that all of you in this room hold yourselves to that same standard. We know for a fact there have been lies that have been pushed by many legacy media outlets in this country about this president, about his family, and we will not accept that. We will call you out when we feel that your reporting is wrong or there is misinformation about this White House. So yes, I will hold myself to the truth, and I expect everyone in this room to do the same.
And Caroline,
It was so well done. And just one thing I would recommend, don't use the language of the enemy. Don't use misinformation or disinformation. It's meaningless. Stick with lies. Because lies are demonstrable. President Trump was not a Russian asset. Lies are demonstrable. Dis or misinformation is meant to confuse. Don't use the language of the enemy. Other than that, great job. On the topic of the drones. The drones, there was a fascinating story. I mean, utterly fascinating to dig into because everybody could make anything out of it. And there were a lot of people, and credit where credit's due. My wife said, it's our government. She said it on day one, Todd, it's our government. Well, funny thing, courtesy of the new White House press secretary.
Update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy.
Man, that'd have been nice to know. So the drones that were authorized to fly by FEMA, were they the ones unspeakably fast that drone operators had never seen, that military people had never seen? That would be interesting to know. Do we believe her? Here's pattern recognition. Thus far, I don't see her lying. So thus far, she's building up a position of trust. The previous administration lied all the time. Anything they could do to keep us on our heels, keep us guessing, to keep us feeling uneasy, that was part of the goal of the deep state and part of the goal of that administration. There's also this, also from the same White House, on the topic of agriculture.
Of everything, not just eggs. bacon, groceries, gasoline have increased because of the inflationary policies of the last administration. As far as the egg shortage, what's also contributing to that is that the Biden administration and the Department of Agriculture directed the mass killing of more than 100 million chickens, which has led to a lack of chicken supply in this country, therefore a lack of egg supply, which is leading to the shortage. So I will leave you with this point. This is an example of why it's so incredibly important that the Senate moves swiftly to confirm all of President Trump's nominees, including his nominee for the United States Department of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, who is already speaking with Kevin Hassett, who's leading the economic team here at the White House, on how we can address the egg shortage in this country. As for costs, I laid out the plethora of ways that President Trump has addressed saving costs for the American people over the past week. He looks forward to continuing to doing that in the days ahead. Thank you guys so much.
Now, there's so much to talk about in the ways of eggs and the food supply, and we'll do that on the Substack channel. That's the Todd Herman Show.substack.com, because there's a lot of information about why those birds were getting sick, the cause of that, you could say, the source of that, the origin of that, something we'll discuss at the Todd Herman Show.substack.com. She's not the only one. And she's very good at this, and I think she's going to prove to be a very good press secretary if she'll stop using the language of the enemy, continue to have this friendly stance, happy warrior stance. You've seen this guy on CNN, and it is phenomenal to me that CNN allows this guy here. And I honestly believe CNN doesn't quite get at this point how bad he makes the rest of their hosts look. Because CNN in that world is such a bubble that I could see them leaving a beating like this, saying, oh, we took him down. Oh, look at what we did to the bitter clinger. Watch this conversation, Scott Jennings in the CNN panel, saying that Americans are having buyer's remorse over President Trump being in office.
Just criminals, they would say, oh, Trump is not going to do that.
They didn't believe it. They didn't believe it.
They didn't believe it. I have them on tape. I have them on tape.
I know. You have all the anecdotes.
The assertion that all American voters did not know exactly what Donald Trump is going to do. Oh, they didn't think it is totally false. There was mass amount of polling during the campaign. Hispanic Americans supported deportations in majority. You and I debated this many times. Yep. You claimed it wasn't true. And then what they do? They went and voted for Donald Trump. The election results are clear. There is no buyer's remorse. The people who followed our laws and came here legally are more than happy to see the laws enforced.
But here's what's being missed. I think this is very critical. In a vacuum, yes, majority of Americans do support mass deportation, Scott. But you have seen this also in polls. When you start telling them what that means,
illegals
right?
Leaving, they support it.
No.
They support that.
Yes, they support the criminals. Let me finish. When you start telling them what that means, dreamers, veterans, teachers, first responders, their family, then they say, you know what? These are people that have been here for 30 years. They have contributed trillions of dollars to our economy. I prefer to give them a pathway to citizenship. So you know what the solve is, Scott? In order to get rid of all of those illegals, let's give them a pathway to citizenship. That is a win-win for the economy, for us.
You're fighting the last battle. He's fighting the next one.
It doesn't work anymore. Here's how you get rid of the illegals. Make them non-legal. Wave a wand. Now they're not illegal. I will say this. President Trump's team would be absolutely wise and brilliant to look into cases where an illegal immigrant may have earned a presidential pardon. They should put together a panel of review. You can pardon people. Maybe there's illegal immigrants who came into this country and they saved 7 people in a house fire. Maybe they went to work. Maybe they actually paid taxes. Maybe they actually built, contributed to society. That happens. I know people like this. Take some opportunities to show mercy and to use the power of the pardon, and then balance a press conference. Announce to the Mockingbird media that you're going to have a press conference. The president is pardoning some illegal immigrants. And you're going to have some people on MAGA say, what? No. And then when they see the families and what they've done, the human kindness, the mercy. God gives us mercy all the time. I need mercy about 1,000 times a minute. President Trump's not God, but he can give this mercy. At that same press conference, have information on the violent criminals who's been taken back to their countries of origin, who committed unspeakable acts, and combine the picture, pardoning people who have done well within the country, sending others back. The Mockingbird media would have trouble not telling both sides of that story if the press conference was well done.